Oh, there we go. Hello.
There we go.
Is people
Takes some time.
Hello.
Okay, so hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here for the 100th. Sorry, it's just beginning right now. I was saying hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here for the 126th Crea Shot edition. Today we have a very special guest, which is Massimo Massimo de Bouffon, and whom I've been knowing for years now, because every time I go to a creative conference, he's there. I mean, we first met in Creative Bangkok, that was in 2016. Then we met in Mindcap Toronto. Then we met in Italy, in Paris, France, in Lille, Mosaic, and even in Chile with Leonardo. And that was something like 2 years ago. So how come you're always somewhere every time we speak about creativity, Massimo? What is your Bouffon mastery about this?
Well, it actually has many, many levels. So
just begin with one, okay?
Okay, well, pleasure.
Pleasure.
The pleasure to let go, to release, to find your... It just builds such incredible confidence that once you do Bouffon, you never forget it. It always just stays with you.
I agree with that. Well, the thing is, tell me, how could you, in 4 words beginning with S, how could you explain what Bouffon is?
All right, so there's swearing involved, and there's...
Swearing, okay.
There's spitting, which is very anti-COVID. There is a sarcasm. There's, my approach is always, you always think about sex, but you just think about it. And of course, when we work together, there's a lot of sweating, so it's not very COVID friendly art form, but I can't wait to get back to it. Honestly, it's anyway. Yeah, those are actually 5 things that start with an S that you can relate to Bouffon if you wish.
Okay. Yeah, I wish. And by the way, can you give us a very quick demonstration of spitting? Because I'm not going to ask for sex, just spitting. Tell me how you would do that.
Well, first of all, you don't just spit.
Yeah.
Okay? It has to be done. It has to be done in context. Okay.
Yeah.
The Bouffons do it. They do it. It's not a confrontation. So first of all, it has to have a big smile. Okay, so. Yeah. Big smile.
Yeah.
And you have to open your eyes. So usually when we smile, our eyes close, but so you have to really open your eyes. Okay. Oh my God, I've been myself do this for years.
Yeah, you have small eyes, yeah?
I do have small eyes, I just realized. Okay, well anyway, so when you spit, you do it fast, and you come back to your smile, And then I get creative with it, like square spit and triangle spit, and it just gets absolutely silly. Why? Because when we are completely silly is when we let go, and there's so many links here. You want to know? Okay, we get silly, let go. Where does that come from? Your childhood. But I don't want. It's not childhood. Rebuilding childhood is just using the naughty things you did as a child and the things you got away with.
Okay. So what would be the difference between a Bouffon and a clown?
Oh, this is a very good question because both.
Thank you. You asked me to ask it, remember.
Well, both art forms are very, very, both art forms are valid, amazing, so not one is better than the other. I just happen to specialize in one, okay? So the difference is when you look at the clown, you're laughing at the clown, what they're doing on stage. Yeah. The Bouffon's the other way around, you're laughing with them, but they're actually laughing at you. And it's sort of done with the two-faced, and that's why it becomes pretty funny. But at the same time, the Bouffon, I mean, both art forms puts reality in society's face, just like I did with my hand there. Like it's like this is it, and they are not afraid to do it.
Works, yeah.
And they're not afraid to do so.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And so, what is the link? I know you hate this question, but I need to ask it. What is the link between Bouffonativity and creativity?
Okay, well, first of all, Bouffon, by breaking down your veneer, by letting go, and then being able to make fun of yourself first, that builds confidence, it builds focus, it builds listening skills, it builds camaraderie in a big way.
That's true.
You'll after you do it, you'll thank yourself for doing it. Even those people who resist in the beginning, you know, I had people walk in and almost want to walk out, and then they stayed, and then they were the ones with the funniest, you know. So yeah, so creativity. Well, I remember actually, Edouard, you said it yourself. I remember the first creative conference I ever did, and I was really out of my comfort zone. There I was, and in creative Bangkok. And after I got to know people, and then I did my workshop, and I hardly knew you, and I was actually quite touched by this. You actually stood up in front of everybody and said we should have let Massimo do his Bouffon workshop at the beginning of the conference, because I've noticed everyone is more creative and more open and more engaged and there's more communication. And I went, well, right on. And that set everything on fire. That's why I ended up going to all these other conferences, because people
remember
networking. There are a lot of people go to the same conference, we meet each other. Oh, and I met so many amazing people. I miss it a lot. I really do.
Yeah. As you say, you have an opportunity to in Italy this year in September with Crea conference, a conference which by the way, because you were there 2 years ago, was it?
Yes, I was. It was amazing when they did it in Sestri.
Yeah, absolutely.
My God, a paradise for one thing, but the people and Matteo and all the lovely people that work. Tim and all these lovely people that are there. My creativity became, even as a creative leader, teacher, whatever you want to call me, master teacher, even while I was doing it there, enhanced. So when I left those conferences, each and every one of them, I always took something with me, but I also left something behind. It's just a beautiful story, actually.
Yeah. Well, hey, stop being soft now.
Oh,
let's go
back
to the real thing.
Next question.
So, next question. Absolutely. So, how is it doing for Bouffon during the COVID crisis? I mean, because spitting, as you said, it's not possible. Sex, maybe. What about curling? No, sorry, cursing.
Okay, because that's a boring Canadian sport. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Curling. I'm sorry.
Don't say anything bad about curling.
No, and it's okay.
They might sponsor us.
It's funny to see Bouffons do curling, but anyway, go on.
So what piece of advice would you give to an apprentice Bouffon in these hectic years?
I've been asked that question.
Sorry.
I've been asked that question throughout the whole COVID thing. And I'll be very honest with you, I didn't even really think about Bouffon during this time because the master needed to shut down, like a lot of people did all over the world. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, because what I do is I've given 45 years of my life, and I give, and I will give some more because I absolutely love to do that. And I'm very passionate about what I did, but COVID was like a blessing in disguise. So I could kind of hibernate for a while and re-empower what I have. I needed to go there, and I am ready for the next step.
I definitely know
I'm really ready. I can't wait till we can start again.
Yeah, absolutely. So my question is the following. Now that you have re-empowered yourself, and I guess a lot of us have. So what should we do now to become Bouffons again and to empower our creativity through Bouffon activity? Yes.
Well, before we even get to Bouffon, I don't know your part of the world, but in my part of the world, unfortunately, I've seen human behavior that shocked me.
Oh.
Yeah, we were all living in a pandemic, so we had to deal with certain things. So I've seen things that shocked me in public. You don't need to mention. So I saw a lot of disrespect, yeah, okay, so let's think about it as a Bouffon. So the Bouffons, at medieval times, they were the rejects of society, and they were sent to the outskirts of the city, where they lived together happily as a family, even in their misery, right? So their whole thing was to survive. So that's where I brought Bouffon in during this COVID time. Is how am I going to survive during this time? So yeah, I didn't have a chance to go out and smile and make funny jokes and be the Bouffon guy. Like, I get off on teaching that so much because it's so empowering and healing for me when I teach. I didn't have all that, right? But I had a lot of time to think about how that's going to be better when I go back to it. And that's only because I grew on my own for a while. I needed to do that. So this is the other point I want to make. So, people look at me as a leader, and I am. But, I'm just a regular Joe Schmo as well, But the thing that I have to say about leaders, and this is really important, this is what I learned working with Comedy Corps when I started doing all these conferences that was also out of my comfort zone and working with big corporations. And that is, a leader sometimes needs to be vulnerable as well.
Very wise say. Yeah, very interesting. And so what will you give us advice to people you are going to teach Bouffon so that they get more powerful or more creative or more vulnerable in the next months? Just imagine you're going to Crea Conference in September. Just what would you change? What would you change in your practice?
I wouldn't change anything. The way I teach, my way I do it, because I've developed this over the years, and it only changes depending who I have in front of me. So it's something I adjust to on the spot, so that I've mastered it to that point. However, because of COVID, I'm going to be even more excited. I'm going to be even more compassionate. I'm going to want to know everything. I'm going to want to, I don't know, look at me, how I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to be, and of course I'm going to make some really funny, hilarious jokes, and probably something that you wouldn't want to tell your mother, or maybe you would, but
I wouldn't.
We have to go there. We have to go there because we need this big release. The whole planet needs to let go. Can I say that word?
What word?
Wow, like a big fart.
A big fart. Oh, so farts are good. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a big fart. Yeah.
It feels good after it's done. I mean, I think. Oh my! But you know what it is? It's love. It's love. It's love. It's how people being compassionate together. It's unification, family. That's what Bouffon is. They go out in packs as a family to survive. So in the history, as the story goes, when they invited them into the city, that was their chance to get food and whatever, and even sex if they could. They would never be confrontational. They would always be very nice. Very nice.
And sorry.
No, that's all I have to say. Just be very nice. But that was their sense of survival, and we can adapt that to the modern world, like today, like what we all do every day to survive. And sometimes, I can be very tough on myself too. Sometimes when things are not going my way, I'm trying this new thing is stop myself in my track and think the Bouffon way, switch it around, take another look at it.
We have a lot of questions about Bouffon, and speaking of fart, there is one question. No, it's not. No, it's about physics. The question is following, and thank you for asking it, because I think it's a pretty important question. How important is it to use the body to enhance creativity? And you, as a master Bouffon, but also as a choreographer, you could answer that in less than 1 minute, please.
Okay. Well, first of all, the body has its own language, whether you're performing or not. I mean, if you're very in tune to that, which I am, when I get new people coming to the studio first time, I look at body language. I mean, I'm talking to them, but I'm looking at body language right away. So it's actually an art form, but it's also a human form. Wow, that's the first time I ever said that. That's brilliant. It's a human form.
It's recorded, don't worry.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
we express ourselves with our body, you know, some of us more if we're Italian, use our hands or whatever.
Mhm.
We express
Mhm.
ourselves with our body. And then if we just shut the language, the vocal language for
Yeah.
this instant, okay, because Bouffons do use voice,
Mhm.
but we exaggerate the body to make the message clear, to be direct, to be to go bigger than life, you know. And by going bigger than life, you can dream bigger than life. I mean, you reap what you sow. You can manifest anything you want, and that's what the Bouffons do. Like, they're hungry, so they're gonna have a plan to get the food, or you know, they want to go out and have some fun. They'll make a plan as a group and go do it. It's community. It's bonding. But even if you're alone, you can still feel this bonding. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does actually, and it reminds me a lot of my first experiences, of course, of Bouffon-ness, but also of creativity as well. I mean, it's exactly the same feeling you've had. Is, you know, see, uh, feeling that all your chains are falling down, and that you begin to have bonds with the other ones, and that you're forming an entity or something which is alive in itself. It's
Together.
really together, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope, I'm pretty sure that in the following months and years, these kinds of experiences will be very, very important in any kind of organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
From you know, ever since I started doing the corporate work,
Mm.
I realized I don't change really any method or anything. It's the same method I use with artists, you know. But sometimes with corporate, you know, I will enhance the leadership and the communication and focus and all that thing. But you know, it's the same words, but you know, you adapt it to what you do. So in a CEO is going to adapt that to the kind of work he does, and an artist who's going to fly through the air or do acrobatics, or as a dancer, or as a musician, you know, they're going to apply it as a performing skill. So you know, I discovered this later on in my career working with that.
Mhm.
It adapts everywhere, and I mean, this is a blessing. This is a gift I was given, and I had to share it with the world, and I've been doing
Yeah,
it
and
for a
we're
long
so
time.
lucky to have you there, by the
I don't
way.
want to stop. I want to keep going.
Keep going, please. And about leadership, there's someone writing down leadership and vulnerability. I
Yes.
think it could be very interesting. But you're already working on this, huh?
Yes, actually. Well, I'm pushing it more now,
Yeah.
especially when I've done the conferences, a lot of them in South America with Comedy Core,
Mhm.
the big companies, and you know, I was actually quite surprised how willing these you know, people who work in the business world, how willing they were to do. You know, I was at first, they come in very, you know, very business looking, but it doesn't take long
Mm.
before they go, oh phew, you know, can we just cut loose here for a bit? And then they don't want to leave because they're having too much fun. You know, that includes me, by the way. So um yeah, I am just so grateful, and now I'm 2 years away from my retirement. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm actually very excited about this because I feel I'm building the next chapter of the rest of my life right now, and I want to do more of that kind of thing. I don't want to run after things. I want to, you know, I want it all to come together, and I got a funny feeling. I don't know. I put a lot of heart out there. You know, I put a lot of funny Bouffon out there, and you know, and I'm just dying to do it, and I know it's coming soon. I just know it, and I'm
Yeah,
so
how
eager.
soon it's coming. Yes, absolutely. I remember you said once, I'm leaving a lot of ironing to the world. What did you mean?
Irony,
Oh, sorry, no, it's irony. Irony.
irony,
Oh, sorry, it's not ironing. Oh, sorry. My bad. My bad.
silly.
Yeah, this is silly.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's silly, as silly as possible. I mean,
Could be the.
it's maybe not for everybody because it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I like extremely stupid, silly humor. I don't know why I like it. Maybe it starts with my brother and I when we were young. You know, we pee ourselves laughing at anything, And it's that joy, that joy inside, you know, that laughter that you just want to burst out and almost to tears. Okay, that's the feeling you get when you do Bouffon on point. You got to feel that all the time. So it's really exhausting to do Bouffon because it's very, very physical, you know. And by the way, that's what keeps you looking young. So yeah, no, it's physical, and it's invigorating, and it's such a great release. It's like autotherapy. You don't even know you're doing therapy, basically. You know, you can look at this so many ways. You get out of Bouffon what you need to get out of Bouffon. So it adapts to everybody. The housewife that's sick of being around her husband needs a break. Come do Bouffon with me. Or you know, I have done children version of Bouffon. That's very rare I do it, but when I do it, that is absolutely magical.
Are you listening? This is the end of our show for this time. Yes, I know.
Shut me up because I talk too much.
Come back, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But anyway, thank you very much for your enthusiasm, and we're so happy to see you back on the tracks, and we're really happy to see you as soon as possible in our conference. Anytime, you know, you're expected, and please go on, and thank you very much. See you maybe in September.
Thank you. Love to all.
Bye bye. Ciao.